Hi, I'm Ann Messerschmidt, the Environmental Resource Specialist with the City of Lakeville, and we're out here today at East Lake to talk about fish surveys that we're doing out here. And with us is our consultant, Steve McComas from Blue Water Science. Thanks for coming out here, Steve.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and it's always great to be on a lake.
Yes, we're out here today to look at the fish because we're having kind of a water quality issue here at East Lake. So do you kind of want to explain why we look at fish?
Well, the question is, why is the lake so full of algae? Is it nutrients coming in from the watershed? Is it coming in from the bottom sediments? Or is it some other factor? And sometimes that factor can be fish. Well, we have studied the watershed pretty intensively. It doesn't appear to be a big source. It's always something we can do to make it better.
Yeah.
The lake sediments also do not seem to be a source. So the last question was, could it be fish? Well, if there are high densities of fish, they could certainly be a factor for releasing or putting phosphorus into the water column for algae blooms. Well, we just ran our nets and just got off the lake, and when we find out that this lake, the good news is there's an exceptional number of fish. Bad news, there might be too many fish. Too many of the wrong kind of fish. We have carp, bullheads, and white suckers that can all be bottom feeders, and they are in excessive numbers as well. So those numbers are way above the regional norm. One other thing that's really kind of surprising is that we have crappies here running 200 to 300 fish per net. A regional average should maybe be 10 to 15 crappies per net. So we have an exceptional crappie population. If they hold in there, they're all real small right now. They're about 5 inches.
Okay.
If those crappies make it up to 7-8 inches, it'll be quite a phenomenal crappie fishery in a couple of years.
Yeah, now we've been looking at this lake for a number of years. We have done fish surveys in the past. I'll ask you about what we found then and as compared to what we do now. But we do look at East Lake pretty closely now. We have a TMDL for this lake. What did we find in our last fish survey compared to now?
Well, what was really interesting is just a few years ago, it was a moderate fish community with some fish, but not excessive numbers. And then we had a winter kill. We came out here and we seined the lake to do a fish kind of a survey or inventory. Didn't find hardly anything. And the lake responded with extremely clear water, and we had almost 100% coverage with plants in the shallow areas. Well, in the last couple of years, the plants have gone down, almost disappeared, and then the algae blooms have come back up. So we think it's probably related to fish effects.
Yeah, it's the only thing we can really point to. So
the watershed's under control, the lake sediments aren't a big problem, so it might be fish.
yeah. So Steve, we found some snappers and some painted turtles out there. Do you want to kind of tell us a few things about them?
What a nice wildlife aspect to a lake environment. The snapping turtles and the painted turtles that we found are probably about average in number and in size for kind of a lake that has some of these wild characteristics. There's a lot of natural shoreline, and there are good areas for these turtles to lay eggs and be successful. So the snapping turtles and the painted turtles are fairly neutral in terms of lake water quality, and they're also kind of always out there but somewhat hidden because they're scavengers. They're feeding pretty much on dead, decomposing fish and even some plant material, and they generally are not out there actively hunting, so we're safe.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate you coming out here. Just wanted to give you an update on East Lake, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ann. Again, the good news is that there's a lot of fish out there. Maybe the bad news is that some of those fish numbers are related to carp, bullheads, and white suckers. But be on guard for those crappies. In a couple of years, this could be the best crappie fishing around.
Well, if you have any further questions, you can give me a call at 952-985-4528.